being recorded. That doesn't mean that you don't have to listen and that you can just log off because you don't want to spend your time with me today. It does mean, though, that if you want to access the information from today's webinar after this presentation, you will be able to do so. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead, guys. It is a minute past 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. Here is why we're having this discussion. It has been almost a full year since 2020, January 1, 2020. We're 10 months in, and we are starting to see what companies are doing in response to the new rules. Remember, I think everybody on here understands exactly what I'm talking about, but keep in mind, January 1st, 2020, we got rid of, or CMS got rid of the option for first dollar coverage. First dollar coverage that only affected 2 Medicare supplement plans. That affected Medicare Plan Fs, Medicare Supplement Plan Fs, and Medicare Plan Supplement Plan Cs. We don't talk a lot about Cs. Cs were not that popular. It really affected Plan F though. What happened, and again, we all know this, but just bringing everybody up to date, what happened is that if an individual becomes eligible for Medicare after January 1st, 2020, then they would not have the ability to purchase a Plan C or a Plan F. That is because, again, they're considered first dollar coverage, meaning they cover that Part B deductible. Now, a big misconception, what's happening with that is even if you didn't have Medicare Part B, or maybe you had a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan prior to January 1, as long as you had Part A of Medicare, that means you are still eligible for the Medicare Plan F. So again, we covered all this. Medicare Plan F isn't going away. Medicare Plan F did not go away. It is still in full force. People who are still able to continue to purchase a Medicare Supplement Plan F. But if you were not eligible for Medicare, you did not have Medicare Part A prior to January 1st, 2020, then Plan F is not an option for you. What this did is that it made Plan G guarantee issue. So guarantee issue plans were A, B, C, F, K, and L. They are now A, B, D, G, K, and L. Can't believe I knew that off the top of my head. So yes, so just keeping that in mind, that's what's going on with Plan F. A lot of agents looking at what was going to happen to Plan F, understandably so, nobody knew what was going to happen. A lot of people decided they were going to jump Plan F ship. They were going to say, we're no longer going to write Plan F for anybody. Plan F is a garbage plan. They're going to see major rate increases. We're going to see a lot of heartache come with Plan F. So a lot of agents jumped ship when it came to Plan F. Oops. And so we see here, this is what the new 2020 rules look like. Again, Plan F, it is still there. It is still in the Medicare supplement books. It is still in the Choosing a Medigap policy book. And because it is still a very good viable option for people. And again, now Plan G is guarantee issue. So we are saying, Senior Marketing Specialist is saying, don't jump the Plan F boat. Plan F could very well still be an extremely viable option when it comes to your Medicare supplement enrollees if they were eligible for Medicare prior to January 1st, 2020. Couple reasons. Plan G, like we mentioned, is the new guarantee issued plan. Guarantee issue. Now, again, we all know this guarantee issue is different than open enrollment. Guarantee issue situations are things like a Medicare Advantage plan leaving a service area. It is things like they are losing group retirement, things like that. That's different than open enrollment. We have already this year have seen some pretty significant effects of what becoming a guarantee issue plan, what that has done to the Medicare Supplement Plan G. We've seen companies already come out with pretty significant Plan G rate increases, and it's understandable so. Why is that happening? It's a really good chance that that's happening because the average person, when they age onto Medicare, a lot of people typically wait to get any major procedures done until they become eligible for Medicare. Because oftentimes Medicare, with the Medicare supplement, especially the Plan G, is going to have a more holistic coverage than their group insurance, and especially more holistic than the ACA. So we're seeing a lot of big claims come up from people who are turning 65 and getting on Medicare at that time. What do big claims do? Big claims equal big rate increases. Since Plan G is kind of taken the head on that and becoming the plan of choice for most seniors, you're going to end up seeing Plan G suffer pretty significant rate increases. And like I mentioned, we've already seen that this year. We're also seeing that Plan F is going to be mostly underwritten. Now, again, I'm looking at who I have attending this. If you are attending this from Missouri or California, Oregon, or Washington, any state that has a unique birthday rule or an underwriting or a free no underwriting look rule other than the open enrollment, this may not ring as true for you guys. But for all the other states, for all 50 or 46 other states, Plan F is going to continue to be mostly an underwritten book of business. It is going to be, again, we kind of wanted to look towards what happened to a very similar situation than Plan F, and that was going to be Plan J. Back in 2010, whenever Plan J kind of got taken out of the picture, of course, the major thing that happened there was, again, it was very similar to a Plan F, but just included that drug coverage. People who had the Plan J were welcome to keep the Plan J. They're just going to sans that drug coverage. We still run into quite a few people, maybe because they were orphaned by their agent, what the case may be, but we saw plan rates or Plan J rates maintain pretty stable. Again, there is obviously better value plans out there than Plan J, but as far as the rates were concerned, it was a very stable book of business once they shut down Plan J. That being said, Plan F is going to continue to get more members on it, and because Plan JF is going to be underwritten, it is a healthier book of business. So keep that in mind. Plan G is going to start taking some pretty significant losses. We're going to see some and already have seen some pretty significant rate increases. Plan F, it is now fully underwritten, not a guarantee issue plan, not a plan that's going to be those who are aging on the Medicare and are going to have major procedures done when they turn 65. So it is something, again, that we are seeing look like it could be a potentially a really great option. Now, I will say, I'll be the first to admit, the only thing, me personally, that has me thinking is because Plan F will, by definition, being an aging book of business. So again, because you're not going to have people getting on the book of business, it will continue to be an aging book of business. But again, you don't always want that turning 65 business. That's why when you see other organizations, when they're really competitive for the turning 65ers, they're typically the companies that have those huge rate increases a year, 2 year, 3 years down the road. It's because the turning 65 business, though they are healthy, is not, or no, they are young, does not mean that it is inherently a healthy book of business. And Andrea, great question. She goes, what about a Plan N being a better option for many people? I would put N in that exact same category. The only difference between the Plan F and the Plan N is I think there's a lot of opportunity with Plan F, because if you look back in 2016, 57% of individuals who had a Medicare supplement owned a Plan F. So this is an awesome opportunity to actually go and talk to those people who, since 2016, there's been significant rate increases. What a lot of people are doing are they're trying to underwrite those people from an F to a G. What I think you ought to do, because they're familiar with the F, they know how it works, they enjoy that first dollar coverage, I would say that continue to keep those people in a Plan F, underwrite them into a different company, get your renewed commissions, make sure that they're saving some money on a Medicare supplement, absolutely educate them on their options. But Plan F, especially compared to a Plan N, people are already familiar with F. Everybody, not everybody, because I can't say blanket statements, but people are familiar with F. It has has a great, almost its own brand to it. As my sister's cousin's doll walker's neighbor has a Plan F. Again, people are familiar with the Plan Fs. When there's familiarity, there is trust. Compared to having to teach somebody who is currently on a Plan F about a Plan N, you may just want to keep them onto a different Plan F. Okay, let me see if I can have some questions. And again, if you guys do have questions, please, I would love to hear from you guys. I'm just giving you what carriers are telling us and what the research is showing right now. Oh, looks like I did answer your question, Brian. So yes, again, it is a concern that again, the book of business is aging. The book of business is increasing. However, it is, in my opinion, a healthier book of business than the turning 65 business, because again, as we see in the math, people who come out very, very competitive for those turning 65ers end up having significant rate increases down the line, because most people tend to wait to have major procedures done until they are aging onto Medicare or able to get onto Medicare, which is that turning 65 business. So keep that in mind. Again, if it were me today, I would be looking at the Plan F, Medicare Supplement Plan F, at Plan Fs that are coming out, because there are carriers, excuse me, I don't have COVID, I swear. There are carriers who are coming out saying, we want Plan F. We have our actuarials have looked at it. We are, our reinsurers have looked at it. We are looking to attain Plan F business. And that's why we have looked and actually saw CSO, Central States of Omaha. They are specifically targeting Plan F business. They're doing so in a way to where they're willing to pay $225 bonus. That's an extra commission per every Plan F business you write. And that is every Plan F app through the last quarter of the year. They've done this promotion earlier this year as well. They did it last quarter. Now they're doing it this quarter. So I don't know, again, me personally, I don't know that I would put my Plan F business with a company like a no name, and I hate to say no name carrier, a carrier that's maybe not an A-RES plus rated carrier that wasn't prepared for it. Because a lot of actuarials starting a few years ago really started looking at Plan G and prepping their Plan G business. Unfortunately, like I said, we're seeing Plan G rates skyrocket. I would put my Plan F business with a company that is actively investing in getting that Plan F business. And that's why we are looking really, really closely at Central States of Omaha with, again, they're paying more for Plan F because they do see the potential income and the potential business and lack of loss ratio that they can get from that. Leah asked the questions.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Sorry, my Apple Watch decided it needed to join the party. Lee asked, any thoughts about a high deductible plans or high deductible plan F or a high deductible plan G? I have no problems with them. They're not wildly popular. I think a lot of people who like to go the high deductible route, I think the competition of high deductible Medicare supplements plan F, high deductible Medicare supplements plan G, you're going to see a lot more conversation about them coming up because of the rise in the Medicare savings account. I'd say Medicare savings account directly compete with those high deductible plans because they work very, very similar. I think they're great options. You're going to see few rate increases or much lower rate increases on them as well because there is not considered a first dollar coverage because, again, they had to meet that deductible ahead of time. I think it's a great option. If it were me today, looking at the book of business, looking at everything, I would invest highly in two different Medicare supplements. Personally, I would invest highly in the Medicare supplement plan N, and I would invest highly in Medicare supplement plan S. Plan G is going to be a great option. It's a fine option, but we're already seeing some pretty significant rate increases come from a Medicare supplement plan G. And that's just going to get worse because you're getting more turning 65ers, more 65-year-olds coming off of ACA, coming off of these individualized plans that had pretty poor coverage with high premiums, and they're getting on Medicare. So there's going to be really high utilization of the turning 65ers. Plan N, with Plan N, you still have to be aware of the turning 65ers. With Plan N, there is still, that is still an option that turning 65ers will take. But because it's not considered a guarantee issue option, it's not going to see the loss ratios as a Plan G would. And like I mentioned, like we've been talking about this entire time, Plan F is going to be technically, I can't say it's a closed book of business. It's not a closed book of business because you can get more members on there all the time. It's just closed to the highest utilization being the turning 65ers, which is amongst the higher utilizations of them. So I'm going to leave this page up. That is actually towards the end. I mean, that is the end of my presentation. Like I said, I wanted to keep this presentation to 15 to 20 minutes because I know how swamped everybody is. It is AEP Eve. AEP is also the time where the absolute most Medicare supplement plans are written throughout the entire year. It is by far AEP most Medicare supplement plans. I believe that it's because people are reviewing their drug plans and money saving options are on the mind. If you're talking to somebody who is leery or maybe just went through some pretty significant rate increases for Plan G, talk to them about the Medicare supplement plan F. Again, 57%, over half of people in 2016 had a Medicare supplement plan F. Those people, we've only had 10 months worth of people who are not eligible for the plan F compared to the last 10 years where somebody was eligible for that plan F. So there's still a ton of people who currently have a Medicare supplement plan F. It's still an option for tons of people who are still eligible for Medicare supplement plan F. Do not discount it. It is not a dead plan. Again, we are seeing these companies make major moves in order to try to attain Plan F business. Make sure you're taking advantage of the opportunity. Again, if you're not somebody who has heard of Central States of Omaha or has contracted with them, we are more than happy to give you information. They're pretty broad. They're pretty broad span across the United States. I think they're in over 30 states. And again, this is something that they're paying per app on. So keep in mind, it's an additional up to $250. It does exclude guarantee issue business, but that's fine because again, we Plan F is not a guarantee issue plan. So, any questions, comments, concerns, threats, or promises? Anybody think that we're absolutely nuts for saying Plan F is still a viable option? Any questions? Because that was the first thing I asked. Is like, well, I mean, like by definition, that book of business is getting older, which means it's getting sicker. But again, the older book of business isn't the highest utilization. It's actually the turning 65ers, which is very interesting to me. Brian says that I am nuts, but just for completely different reasons. I'm not going to argue that at all. That's 100% accurate. Terry asks again, what companies would I recommend? If I was me today, talking to my clients, I would look at Plan N as in Nancy and Plan F. Again, nothing against Plan G. Plan G was actually was the second after Plan F. Plan G was the second most popular plan. But we're really seeing the repercussions of that with the rate increases that we've seen just in the last 10 months. This, Plan G has been a guarantee issue plan, and Plan F has been limited for only 10 months, and we're already seeing it affect financially what's it doing to those premiums. I imagine we're going to continue to see that as well. So I love Plan N. The only difference between N and F is that it does not pay that Part B deductible, and it doesn't pay excess charges. So if you have questions what excess charges are, I'm more than happy to get into that. It also has a copay for hospital visits and doctor visits, up to $20 is essentially per. Great. So Andrea, right at the point, what is my experience with Medicare Supplement Plan N? Again, as far as the copays and excess charges, I've not heard complaints. I will tell you, in my line of work, I don't get a phone call from agents or consumers telling me, oh my gosh, I just did this. It was the best experience of my life. I love this company. They're amazing. I don't get those phone calls. I get the phone calls that these people are trying to screw me over. This company's awful, blah, blah, blah. I've not had really any issues with a Medicare Supplement Plan N. It all comes to education. If you can properly educate your client on how to utilize that plan and set the correct expectations, then people really enjoy it because the Plan N is significantly less expensive than a Plan G. So just keep that in mind. And again, we're not seeing the rate increases on Plan N like we're seeing on Plan G. So it starts off a lower premium and it's a lot more stable as of right now, what we're seeing and what we're going to continue to see. As far as excess charges are concerned, keep in mind excess charges only affect less than 5% of providers nationwide. And that means that they don't accept Medicare assignment. Keep in mind, Medicare assignment is not the same thing as they don't accept Medicare. It's basically what Medicare assignment means is that, like, yes, they accept Medicare. Medicare is an insurance for them, but they want to charge more than what Medicare will reimburse them. That's essentially what accepting assignment is. A Medicare, and again, whenever a doctor doesn't accept assignment, they can only charge an extra 15% in addition to what they wanted to charge, and Medicare wouldn't reimburse them for. It really Plan N. If you have a consumer that is planning on using the Mayo Clinic, don't get a Plan N. That would be my thing. If the Mayo Clinic is a real possibility for them, don't get a Plan N. Otherwise, Plan N is a great option, again, as long as your clients have the right expectations and are educated and trained on what to expect if they utilize that plan. So, yeah, I've not had the issues with them. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? Here is all of the stuff. Make sure you visit. Again, I want to make sure, I know this is not an AEP webinar, but it is AEP Eve. Make sure you're checking out our smsteam.net, our AEP toolkit. Make sure you're checking out our university. If you're trying to learn how to be a remote agency due to COVID-19, make sure you're watching how to sell over the phone, how to sell Medicare Advantage or prescription drug plans non-face-to-face. Make sure you are utilizing Enrollment Express and that you're fully trained on how to utilize Enrollment Express. If there is anything that senior marketing specialists can be doing for you today, tonight, tomorrow, right before the start of AEP, give us a call. Let us be here and available to make sure that you guys have the absolute best AEP possibly can. Huge time of year to write these Medicare supplements. Give that Plan F an extra look. Give that Plan N an extra look. And again, making sure that your clients are educated and know fully well what expectations they should be having from their plan. Awesome. Brian, I will email you. We'll go that way. Awesome, guys. Well, you all have a fabulous rest of your day. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me today. I kept it to 20 minutes, so I did my job. We nailed it. Appreciate you guys. You all have a wonderful rest of your day and an amazing AEP. Thanks again.